Then there's this, Shan, not so small issue of constitutional crisis. That's where the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee says the country has officially landed. That is where Nancy Pelosi also now says this morning that the country has landed. Let me play you how Jerry Nadler put it in this moment. Listen.
There can be no higher stakes than this attempt to arrogate all power to the executive branch away from Congress and, more important, away from the American people. We've talked for a long time about approaching a constitutional crisis. We are now in it. We are now in a constitutional crisis.
Shan, do you think he is right?
I don't think we're quite there yet. No question, I agree that the way the president acts, the way he talks, the way that the Attorney General supports him will lead us to that, because they're basically saying the executive branch answers to no one. They want to be a dictatorship. But right now, we are utilizing the processes in place to handle that. There are investigations going on. There's a contempt citation that's been issued, and there's also impeachment. None of that means you're in the crisis. To me, as a lawyer, the crisis is when none of that's working anymore. If Trump, for example, refuses to turn over anything after the judiciary says you have to turn over something, now you're at loggerheads. That's the real crisis.
The third guardrail, if that's ignored, then you're in the constitutional crisis. And smart people like Shanwu, David, are saying that. So that would mean if legal minds seem to be in the place of we're not there yet, then it is an entirely political question. And that leaves Congress drawing this line on constitutional crisis. That leaves Congress where at this moment?
Well, Congress is a bit divided. And by Congress, I mean the Democrats, right? Obviously, the Republicans would be opposed to this. But the House Democratic majority, they are not all singing from the same song sheet here, Kate. If you look in the polling, you understand why. A majority of Democrats are on board with the notion of impeaching the president. And so being sort of responsive to their party faithful and to their base is something that you hear a lot of members giving voice to. But you hear from Nancy Pelosi and the leadership that she does not want to go there because she understands broadly with the American public the idea of impeaching and removing the president. It's not only unpopular, but it has been getting progressively less popular over the last several months. The trend is overall in the American public away from impeachment, and that puts Nancy Pelosi in a real bind, which is why you hear her this morning saying things like, this is methodical. We have to go step by step by step. Steny Hoyer, her number two, saying if impeachment is where this all leads us, so be it. But nobody obviously wants to jump to that right now because they understand how politically perilous that is.
Right, but still, using hyperbolic language about it, there reaches, I'm wondering when the point is when folks are saying, we have reached the point of the boy and girl who cries wolf about this constitutional crisis, looking towards impeachment. I mean, and again, it's not a cohesive message exactly coming from the Democratic side, so who knows? But there is this kind of, I think that question lingers. Regardless, it's great to see you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.